Hello, I'm Frost and welcome to my Planetfall in-depth series where I look in depth at the strategies and tactics of each particular race and secret tech, and I do this through gameplay. I skip through the bits that we don't need and focus on the elements that matter. And this is part 2 of the Syndicate and the Promethean secret tech. Right, so I suppose we better start just with a quick recap in case you haven't just come straight from part 1, but I'll keep it brief. We're at turn 33. I'm not at war with anybody. I've discovered everybody. In fact, I was just introduced to the Dvar at the end of turn 32. And as you can see on the left-hand side here, my relationship is reasonably good with everybody. I've already got a non-aggression pact with Taron of House Timur, which is Syndicate. Assembly, for some reason, started off pretty bad, but we've improved relationships there. I've done a few pronouncements and things and improved that. And obviously Zana I've just met and just taken a dislike to me. That's okay. I can't see Zana anywhere on the map at the moment, so they're not anywhere close. So all good. The Paragon I've just kept neutral, but I've developed a really good relationship with the Growth. And the reason why is because I'm sharing sort of space with them. They're kind of like right next to my capital, right here, because he's a dwelling of Zok, Ush Growth Mother Node. In regards to the map, now let me zoom out. If you just check in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see my map down here. You'll see that geographically I'm really well positioned because I have a water line all along the north side, all down the east, and it looks like I'm kind of on almost on an island with just the southwest being connected. I think there's even water between myself and the Amazons in the southeast. So it's still early in the game, but I'm looking possibly as my winning scenario as going for amount of territories and getting like 70% of sectors or something like that, because I'm in a really good position to grow without any interference from being on the borders with anybody else. So that's quite good. Also, I don't really know the size of the territories of anybody else yet. So I'm going to focus on just building up my my energy, building up my colonies, and just taking over some extra territories. Now, I just took Novaneth, which was an independent but syndicate. I overtook that independent colony. And so that's going to become live on the next turn. And my plan, if I go to the economy tab, it's already there. As you can see, I've got some bonuses on energy in this sector next door. So I'm going to clear out those the rats that are there and just take over those sectors and just try and build up my energy, because I've been using energy siphons undetected to grab everyone else's energy. And I may use siphons later on, but as you can see, my influence right now at the top is at 12. It's quite low. And there's another dwelling, another independent colony here, the dwelling of Tyria Capital. And I'm thinking of taking that over, as there is a doctrine that allows me to get bonuses for the amount of independent colonies that I basically acquire. So I think it's either Dwelling of Tyria or it's this one. Oh no, it's Vostavirov. There we go. So I'm going to go over there, and hopefully by then my influence points will have built up. Once I've obviously cleared out all these rats and stuff down in this bottom corner. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm building, you see, a naval sector short shore, which is a mouthful, short shore. So I'm building short shore, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build some naval units, because I want to clear out these marauders that are here, but more importantly I want to clear out these 3 sectors. So you can see that there's some rats here, here and here, so sort of Coastal Crack, Starflight Strand, and in Rebirth Reef, because especially for Jizadar I'll be able to take over, get a bonus for my research, and get a Cosmite. Now Cosmite's going to be key because I'm going to need more colonizers, and so also if I take over this colony in Vostavorov over here, that's got a Cosmite as well. So Cosmite's going to be a bit of a problem for me, I think, at this stage. So I'm going to try and go down that road. So that's the plan, and obviously I've got this anomalous site where I started the first turn, and I'm now waiting another 2 turns before I can sort of move on to step 2. So that gives me a chance to use these extra ones, this extra unit up here, which I'm trying to build up the hero skills on that one, and these units over here, and I can use those to clear out the rats in the meantime. So that's the plan, and let's go from there. Okay, so we've moved forward to turn 35. My sun shard, which was my anomalous site, that is now complete. So let's click on that, and I just get a reward. So that was all pretty straightforward. Attempt to contain and reforge the west shard into a weapon. Or we can try and connect to the shard. All right, well, these heroes aren't doing anything at the moment, so I'm just going to go ahead with this and just give it another 2 turns. Because I need to be using my other units anyway to be able to build up their capabilities. Now, military dominance is just completed, so let's just check my options here. Right, so yes, I created military dominance because it gives me, where is it? Here we go, the spatial acceleration sails. Now what these do is, if you remember, I mentioned that the Mirage was a really useful unit because it can get the ability to create a shield over the over all the units underneath it, and basically it also can have these sails, which makes it harder to hit when it's in defensive mode, and it gets a bonus to its shield. So all of these things put together make that unit very, very useful. Now, where am I going to go to next? I think what I'm doing is, I haven't done much with the Prometheans, so I'm going to do the Purifier Core, so I can get an indentured Purifier, which then gives me both benefits from the indentured and also benefits from the secret tech. So we're going to go with the Purifier Core, and then we can then start building some of those units. Now, I've got a quest to do, which is to take out these Mechanized Apes, and they've got quite a strong army there, 1,020. So the first thing I'm going to do is, let's think this is going to take a turn, is I want to be able to put on my spatial acceleration sails. So there we go. And what we'll also put on, yeah, we'll give it an exploitative targeting system as well. I might as well fill it all up. No, I'm just going to go with those 2. I'm going to mod the unit, there we go. But that's going to take a turn for it to take effect. So I'm just going to use that turn to merge it with this army, and I'm going to pop that just there. I've also just recruited a hero, so we're going to move him in as well. And he's just a little bit out of reach, he can't quite make it. So that's fine, so we can do that the next turn. Unfortunately, I've lost my colony, my sector in Carapace Reef, because I don't have a naval force, and the Marauders came along and took that, so that's an issue. What I may do is I may just take Evening Caldera or Granite Peaks, so that it saves me the issues of getting a naval force all the way over there. And what I'm going to do is with Zelnadar, I've got another unit there, let me start bringing him down as well, is I'm going to start building some guild cruisers. So we do 1, build another one. I think we'll try and get at least 4. And there we go. I'm going to check my colony as well. Yeah, so I'm maxed out right now on my units, for almost maxed out for my units on production, which is good. And Jizadar is now annexed Coastal Crack up here. And so once I've got my naval force in place, then I will be able to go along and get rid of all these rats along the top here. Everything's going to plan so far. I've had to compliment the Kyoko because they were suggesting they're going to go to war with me, which once again has dropped my influence down a little bit, but I can deal with that. I don't need the influence right now. I've primed everything that I can prime, and so we're just going to move on from here. So I'm back again, turn 36. I know I'm kind of coming back every turn at the moment, but there's quite a lot happening, and so I just want to make sure I kind of cover sort of important things. So I'm now ready to take on the Mechanized Apes. I have one unit here of power of 1070, another one with 790, so I should have overwhelming force, so that should be fine. I'm going to do manual combat with that, just so that we can sort of use the units a little bit and you can see them in action. So my Phoenix Dawn protocols are finished. So I trained up Phoenix Dawn protocols, not so much for what they offered, because for me that's not that useful at the moment. One is gives me bonuses against hazards and volcanic, and the other one reduces the cost of Promethean units. But it's a doctrine operation, and I'm short on doctrines, and I want to get secret states, so I can't actually use that right now anyway. But it brings me on to Dawn of a New Union, which gives me the Hero Resurrection Protocol, which is very, very handy. But also then I can move on to Clandestine Practices, which gives me some more options like Cloak and Dagger, which I was going to use as my term for this. But essentially it makes all my covert ops cheaper and gives me bonuses that are very Syndicate kind of focused and appropriate to what we're doing at the moment. So I'm going to train up Dawn of the New Union. I really want to do aquatic development at some point as well, just so I can get the Maritime Research Facility, as I'm going to annex a sector that has research bonuses in it. And also I get bonuses just for having coast sectors, and now I'm kind of moving a little bit offshore. It kind of makes sense to do. But also I need Espionage and Operation Effectiveness 3. So there's lots of things I need on the society tree, so it's a good job I got the bonuses earlier on in the game that helped me along with that. And hopefully I'll be able to boost up. I mean, you can see my research is now at plus 101. Just a few turns ago it was like plus 55, so I'm kind of really ramping up my research by focusing one colony purely on research and acquiring as many kind of research bonuses and stuff as I can. And then when I get espionage, I'll have research taps, and research taps allows me to then steal research from other factions, which will be super useful. So there we go. So let's start this manual combat then. So let's pop in here. Safe battle, so that's going to be fine. It should be fairly straightforward. You never know. Right, let's speed this up. Right, what are we dealing with? Right, so we've got the Dvar and the Vanguard. Alright, so they're heavy on armor, and the as we know, the Dvar like to use sort of grenades and kinetic weapons. The Vanguard have very, very good range. So I've got my my spatial, there we go, my Mirage right here. So where is it? There we go, the Mirage field. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the Mirage forward to about here and try and demonstrate this. So I'm going to put it there. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to move some indentured to here. And we're going to put them in Overwatch. That bulwark there is going to cause me some problems, I think. I think that's a bulwark, right? Yeah, it's a bulwark. That guy can do quite a lot of damage, so I'm going to be focusing on him first. So this unit, which is the hero I've just recruited, it looks like he's only melee. So we're just going to bring him straight to the front right now. It's not ideal. I don't like particularly having melee melee units, so we'll put him into defensive mode, and then bring these guys forward. Okay, they can do damage that goes straight through armor, so even though it's a long shot, it was worth a try. And then we're going to pop, I think these guys, can we get them? Yeah, we can move them into the back here. Now, obviously normally I don't bundle things together because of area of effect weapons. He's out of range, so we'll just pop them into, and then we're going to move this chap over here. Yeah, so I don't know, because of area of effect, I try not to put all my stuff together, unless obviously it's the Kirko. But here the situation is very different. So I've got these Guild Assassins, so they're great because I can get good range on these guys normally, and they do a lot of damage. And on top of that, we will be getting flanking from having these units come from the side. So I'm going to try and move them forwards as quickly as I can. Okay, he's got a shotgun, but it's kind of not, the range isn't great. I've got my priests as well, so we're just going to tuck them in behind here. And I've got my guys, my runners, who obviously have the bowlers and have also the escape module, where if they die, they basically respawn somewhere else with 15 vitality. And then these soldier bees, I have no idea. We're just going to move them forward to some random place. There we go. And we are just going to go to the next turn. As expected, the bulwark's coming straight in. Okay, AoE damage from the bar. Okay, these guys are quite well defended, so we've got the vanguard down the bottom here that are, looks like they're under cover. Right, so one of my units is not looking at all healthy, one of my priest units. So let's heal that one straight away. Right, now we've got to decide whether we go for the bulwark or we go for the gunship. My feeling is to go for the gunship first. So generally the mirages do very well against other air units. We're going to get these guys as well. Get some shots in there. Can my my hero? This hero's only. I forgot this hero's only melee. So we've used those. So the indentured should be able to get a shot in. Is that going to be enough? Yeah, we've got a critical hit. Brilliant. Okay, so we got rid of those guys. So that's good. Now, can I? This guy can't reach the target. So now we're going to focus all our efforts on the board. And we're going to use these units and try and come down and get some flank. Now it doesn't seem to be able to get into range, which is... There we go. So if I just move them one. Oh, look at that. That's a great sniper shot. Good stuff. Alright, so now my hero... I'm moving one more tile. There we go. Flanking action there as well. Excellent. Oh, by the way, I haven't even used my tactical operations yet. I really should have done that at the beginning of the turn. Not on the case at the moment. So let's see what we've got. Okay, we've got Arctis Dodge, a Firestorm projectile. Yeah, I'm going to use the Firestorm projectile because it leaves this Pyrex hazard, which is, so you see a flaming ground. And if I put it onto this unit here, then it makes it more difficult for these guys to maneuver around. So I think that's going to be a good one to select. And in fact, I can actually hit 2. And it's cancelled their melee overwatch as well. So let's see if we can rush these guys forwards. I don't think they can get quite far enough to be able to get their bowlers into action. Yeah, out of range. Okay, so we're just going to put them in defensive mode for now. And the priests, I'm going to move as far forward as I can so that they can support these units because they've been taking some damage. And so that way they can provide support for those units. And then my worker bees, let's see if I can, I always have problems selecting aerial units. There we go. And they've actually got good range. Where can we put them? Okay, they were a bonus unit that I got anyway, so looks like they can do some status effects with a vomit. Ah, armor melts, there we go, so it destroys armor, so that's perfect for the Dvar. So we're going to use them on these guys here. There we go. Start removing their armor. Right, I think we're about done. I've just got one shot with this. This is my unit that's purely... See, I'm really not happy with this unit. It's all Heritor as well, which doesn't really help me. So what we'll do is we'll use the arc bowlers and we'll just at least immobilize the unit if we can. There we go. Okay, so that keeps them in pace. So they're going to be burning for 2 turns, which is great. The other ones have basically lost some armor. So let's end that turn. These are being cannon fodder. That kinetic damage is awful, as you can see. It's an azerative effect. It causes problems. So you can see what we're going to do is I think I'm going to lose this unit. I don't think I could repair. Yeah, I'm going to use it to repair my hero and accept that I may lose the unit. I think that's going to be my best option. My unit can't actually repair himself, so let's do that, and then we'll get him to use his essence fangs. There we go. So we've got an energy drain, but we're not using Heritor, so it's going to be very difficult to use them efficiently. We've got 64% from there, so we're going to move them up 1 space. There we go. We've got a slightly better angle, and then we're going to use the Mirage Cytoblasters And he is literally just surviving, but I can use the Cyclops staffs there.
Serves them
Good.
right.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these chaps round and see if I can get them to heal. Can they come round and think they're just within range? No, they're not within range to be able to heal, which is frustrating. So I'm going to bring them round anyway. I'll bring them round as far as I can. Let's see if I can. Yeah, no, I can do the heal. There we go. So I may be able to save my overseers. So that's excellent. Then we are going to use this unit here, move it forwards, and we're going to attack these guys that are immobilized. We've got a very high chance, 95%. The worker bees, or the soldier bees, we're going to get them to spit on these guys and reduce their armor as well. Okay, and now we need to get rid of this unit here so it can't do any more damage, as it's been causing me plenty of problems. Now let me see if I can select my runners. There we go. They should be able to get close enough. I can't see, unfortunately the others are under cover, so we're going to have to focus on... Yeah, I got no line of sight on these guys. But my snipers may be able to do something. So either my snipers or my crystal shotgun. So let's see if I move. Let me see my move options. There we go, that's better. Yeah, I'm going to move forwards. I've still got no line of sight on these guys. But I should, there we go. So with the crystal shotgun, because it bounces around, it looks like I'm going to be able to take out both sets at once. Perfect. Right, and now we can get our snipers to focus on these guys, and they're flanked. Now we've got 45%. Let's see if I move forwards a little bit. Okay, let me see if, I can't remember now, if I move forwards another one. I'm going to take the risk and just go for it. Okay, it wasn't quite enough to finish them. But I still have my tactical operations, so we might as well put that to good use. And I think we'll just use 25 damage, because we just want maximum damage here. Yeah, so we're going to go for the Firestorm projectile again. I'm going to pop that right on top of this guy.
Enemy down.
And job done.
The Syndicate rules supreme.
Yeah, the Syndicate is victorious. So there we go. So you kind of got to see the units in action there. I didn't really get a chance to use the Overseers to get my indenture to shoot again, because my Overseers had to do a lot of healing. But that all worked out for the best.
Objective
so excellent.
Completed.
So what we're going to do is now I'm going to wait another turn, see what happens with the Sun Shard. It will probably be a bonus. If it's an attack, then I will come back. And if not, I'm going to try and move a few turns and get these things established. So in other words, get my naval fleet up and running. Take over some sectors around here so I can get my energy build up. So you see I'm running low on energy, although my influence is going up quite a lot now. So in fact, let's see if I can basically start priming an energy siphon. So that's going to be next turn. So I may try and siphon somebody to just try and build up a little bit of energy. And it should be more than at the beginning of the game, because simply now that we're more advanced, and so therefore more energy is being produced by my opponents. All right, catch up with you soon. Turn 40. So we've managed to get a few turns done this time. All right, so where we're at is Novaneth has just been able to annex another sector, which is great because I will be able to get these energy bonuses. And as you can see, my energy is really low right now. It's only going like plus 33. So someone may have managed to do an energy siphon on me. Looking at operation, my operational strength is 7. And over here, we've got 11 from the Amazon, 7 from Inazun. So I really need to kind of start boosting up my operational defense. Now, the decision I've got to make is that I've done an energy siphon, by the way, on the Dvar, is I have 65 influence. Now, let me find it on the map. If you remember, I mentioned Vostivarov. This is a settlement that I want to take over, an independent settlement. That requires 75 influence, and I have 65 right now, so it's going to take me 2 turns before I can get that. And the issue is that if I wanted to do... actually, I can do an internal purge now, as I was going to fabricate my Casus Belli. But I'm going to wait for that. I'm going to do the internal purge because I didn't realize I had it primed. So let's launch that now. And that will obviously boost up my operational defense and also check to see if I'm being siphoned. But one of the things I want to do at some point is if we go into the Diplomatics tab, if we look at Mahina, who's the Amazon, she's at war with everybody. And apart from us. So if I fabricate my Casus Belli, I can go to war with Mahina as well. Now Mahina, is if she's at war with all of these people, she's going to be really weak. And she is across the way from me down in this area down here. And I believe that one of my teleports, which is this one here, no, it's not that one. There is a teleport that I have right here. If I do show destination, it takes me down into Mahina's territory, right next to a colony. Cancerville. So I may have the opportunity to just go down here and take Cancerville. Now whether I can defend it is another matter, but from the point of view of sort of expanding later on, it's something that I may want to do. So I may just try and take this settlement up here, which is going to take 2 turns, although I have to get this quest for the growth faction, which is to basically take out this quartzite nest. Now, if I do that, I'm going to get 30 influence points because I get a bonus for influence because I took out one of the doctrines, which, if I look at my doctrines, where are my doctrines? I've got a mind blank now. I have a doctrine enabled. There it is, they're over here, sorry. So which one is it I've got? There we go. So is it noble? No. The emissary. There we go. So it took me a little while there. The emissary gives me 100% bonus on my quest. So instead of just getting 15 influence, I get 30. So that will then allow me to then fabricate that Casus Belli and also get this extra colony. So everything's going to plan. So I'm kind of zooming in and out. It's not exactly too useful. So that's good. In terms of what I'm doing right now is I'm doing intelligence gathering, all right, which will basically reduce target players' operational defense by 4, and also it gets me to see what they're up to. But it actually leads me to espionage. So I'm going to be wanting espionage and operation effectiveness. So these two are kind of critical, and that's about it, I think. In terms of units, I am sort of focusing more on the psionics side of things. So I'm training up Dominion of Affliction right now so I can get another tactical operation. I'll get another tactical operation up here as well, just so that I'm kind of more effective in manual combat. So that's where I'm at right now, and if anything moves forwards at this stage, I'll let you know. But otherwise, the plan is still to acquire more sectors, acquire more colonies, and just kind of build up a really strong position on my sort of little island here in the in this area in the northwest. All right, catch up with you soon. Turn 45. This is very much the building phase of the game, and I have taken over the Vostorovov colony, and I should have really turned it into a colonizer to keep everything Syndicate. Instead, I just kind of absorbed the colony. So I've got a Dvar colony, which is okay, but obviously I wanted to try and keep everything Syndicate. But for the time being, the main thing is that I've got another colony, and which I was able to buy with influence points rather than spending Cosmite by building a colonizer. And I have some Dvar units now. So I'm going to focus on getting energy for this one. The other thing that I found as well is I found another independent colony down here, the Dwelling of Tyria Capital, which is a Paragon one at the moment. So I should be able to, let's see, I will go down there and see if I can convince them to move out. If I can, then I will build a colony down there as I get another energy bonus. Energy is my big problem right now. As you can see, that I'm literally at plus 17. So hopefully with Vostovirov, I can't even pronounce it, Vostovirov, there we go, Vostovirov up and running. And then down here, Novanev is starting to ramp up as well. I'm just building up the military infrastructure on it because I've got some Marauder guards floating around here, and they're probably going to attack my my sector base, and it just doesn't have enough defenses, and I can't get my units back in time. So I really need to start building up my defenses. I've kind of neglected that a little bit, and I really should build up at least kind of basic infrastructures so that if I get marauders like this, it doesn't like remove my colony and I have to sort of my sector and then I have to rebuild it again. So my main focus is going to be getting some energy. I think it's simply because I have a lot of troops already. I've got kind of 3 complete armies down here. I've got some more units I've been building up here. I've got some purifier guards, which give me both Promethean and Syndicate sort of bonuses. And I thought they would be cool to have. But obviously all of that is costing me, and I really need to use some of that cosmite to maybe make some units indentured so I can bring my costs down. So that's the plan with that. So I'm going to sort of just sit tight, not build anything too much. I've got this naval unit up here. I need to build one more just to be able to take out these last few rats up here, and then I can then leave the naval units alone. So I'm kind of in a process right now of just kind of being in a build. Mahina keeps trying to do a non-aggression pact with me, and I don't want that because she's at war with everybody. So I don't want her to have the lack of opportunity to be able to go to war with her. Zana picked up on the fact that I was using covert ops, so my ciphering was only half effective. I only got like 200 energy points for that, which was a shame. And that's about it really. And everyone else, I mean, my relationships with everyone else are reasonably good at the moment. I've obviously got S96 who's a little bit shady, but that's not too much of a problem right now. But once it gets to -500 that, I have to worry. But I'm doing very well with the growth. These guys are very happy with me. So hopefully I'll be able, if I go into war, I'll be able to call them in to help me. And then I need to come up here at some point and remove these marauder guards so that I can take that cosmite, because I'm going to be needing that cosmite pretty soon. And then hopefully Jizadar will be, let's see, growth in 17. So let me pop that up as well. There we go. So we're producing growth in 6 so that I can then acquire this sector, which has a cosmite bonus as well. All right, so that's about it. Like I said, it's a building phase at this moment, just sort of prepping for some conflict and just trying to acquire as much territory as possible. Right, turn 48, and things are a little bit wobbly. I made some mistakes, which I'm happy to admit to. As I said, I didn't build up enough of an infrastructure on one of my colonies, and I lost it to some marauders, of all things. So I've got an army coming in now into Novaneth to take it back. But obviously that's really impacted on my energy production, because that was my main energy colony. So not too clever on my part. And then the Paragons, because I was trying to keep really sweet with the growth, I kind of upset the Paragons a little bit too much, and they've declared war on me. But I'm going to use that to my benefit, because they have a dwelling here, which I am going to attack. They also have a landmark here, which would give me food production, which is all right. So they're kind of in this kind of west side of my sort of small island area. So I'm going to bring all my armies up from the south. And I can see I've got 3 down here, and then I've got another one here. So I'm going to have 4 armies. And whilst I'm doing okay with everyone else, almost, I'm going to use that opportunity to try and take these territories on the left here, and also build a colonizer and pop a colonizer in Sheep Wolf. So that's the plan. That's kind of where I'm going with this. So we're going to see how that plays out over the next few turns. So yeah, little skew-if on things. Also, the Dvar have declared war on me, but I'm not too bothered. They don't have any borders near to me. Unless they start coming from offshore, I'm not placing too much focus on that right now. I'm not too concerned. I need to really get my energy back on the case. I've started an energy siphon on the Kirko, so that will come in a couple of rounds as well. Will hopefully give me a little boost, and then maybe it'll deplete my armies a little bit and keep my costs down. So we shall see. But that's the update of where we're at with turn 48. I'm also now training up my Operation Effectiveness 3, and on the military side, I am training up alternative measures just so I get some more strategic operations, because I don't really have any that are kind of really useful right now. So I'm training those up. So there you go. So that's where we're at, and we'll find out in the next few turns if my my recovery program goes to plan. Turn 54, and still in the recovery process, but things are improving. So as you can see, my energy is now up to 824, and that was from an energy siphon, and also because my war with the Paragon is going quite well, I managed to take a Paragon forward base here, which gave me a bonus of about 200, 300 energy, and then now I'm ready to kind of go and attack the dwelling down here and hopefully take that over. I also found another independent colony, an Amazon one this time, and it requires 90 influence for me to be able to take it, but I have 106 influence, so I'm going to roll over there next turn and get myself an Amazon colony as well to go with my Dvar one, or I may turn it into a colonizer and try and keep it on the Syndicate thread. So that's all looking much, much better. My research isn't going as fast as I would like, because I've had to just, I've got some unhappy colonies right now which I need to deal with, obviously with these wars and everything. Morale has dropped a little bit, so I'm resolving that, and then let me see, and then that's about it. The main thing is I am now training espionage, so that's good news. So that means that I'll be able to do these research taps, and I'll be able to then steal research from the other factions. I also have now got another operational effectiveness, which means I have a free doctrine slot. So I am going to be doing the secret state, which increases my operational defense, because I want to make sure that that is absolutely shored up as much as I can. And then after that, I will look at something that's probably a little bit more aggressive, shall we say. So that's the plan right now. In fact, I can do another energy siphon. So I'm going to do that actually. Let's do an energy siphon. Let's see what my situation is now with my probability chances. Yeah, so I have a very good chance against Zana, 80% chance, and we're at war anyway. So it's not like I'm too worried about that. So, okay, there we go. So hopefully that will give me some more energy soon, and then that will make up for any troops that I lose in my attack with the Paragon. And then I may start thinking about, like I said, acquiring more territories and then going and attacking the Amazons. Right, see you soon. Turn 58, and I am making progress, albeit with some issues along the way. So I've managed to deal with the Paragon. I've taken over Dwelling of Tyria capital, and they have made peace with me, so that is good. I have also managed to acquire this colony. I couldn't make it a Syndicate colony. It had to be an Amazon one, so be it. So I have that colony now, so that's going to be able to expand. Although I can use the Dwelling of Tyria capital and then maybe expand into Union Guard Station and Sheep and Wolf Foods, so down that direction. Also, there's a particle scaling center down here, which I need to take at some point using my influence, so that I can get some more research. And I've set up this colony in Jalal, or Jalar, for research as well. And then I found another colony down here, another independent colony, so I may be able to take that over as well. And then I kind of get my whole mini continent all surrounded by shoreline, which is brilliant. So my expansion is going ahead, not quite as fast as I would like, as I keep getting issues with marauders, because my defenses, my sort of, what are they called? My colony militia power was not enough. So I'm having to shore all those up. So I'm doing that now on all of them. It's going to take a few turns. So I need to do that. And that's kind of slowing down my progress a little bit. But I'm building up a nice level of cosmite up here. I may not need to build a colonizer after all. I think I'm doing fine just by acquiring sort of independent colonies and taking them over. Although I may need to sort of work on my growth a little bit so I could take a few more sectors. But I can do that kind of last minute and then acquire lots of sectors all at the same time, which may allow me to win the game later on with sectors. I think that's still the route I'm going to go. That's still going to probably be decided in the next couple of turns. The growth faction keep making me do quests, So there's a quest up here which I'm not going to be able to do in time. That's in literally one turn. I can't get my units up there, but there's a quest down here which I can do with that, because all my armies are returning towards this area, so I can deal with that, and at least that will keep the growth happy, especially as they're kind of right in the middle of my territory. And then from there I've got a new hero who's an Amazon, and because I took over an Amazon colony, they seem to think that I want an Amazon hero, so that's fine. Also on the hero front, the dude that I had that had the hand weapons, I've given him instead sort of Pyrex Promethean weapons, so he's got all thermal stuff now, and he's got ranged weapons, which suits my gameplay a lot better, so I'm much happier with that. And oops, I've moved him ahead. Let me just click away, and I have my research taps now, so I still have pretty good chances here. So I've got 70% with Sonar and 70% with Toku. Toku has, by the way, declared war on me, so as you've declared war on me, I think I should get your research. So there we go, so that's been successful. And in terms of my training, clandestine practices is the research that I'm doing right now, so I can do more covert stuff. I'm using obviously the research taps. I am also going to steal maps at some point. That will come in really handy. In fact, I'm priming a lot of stuff at the moment, so all my strategic operations that I got that are aggressive, so you can see steal maps is there priming as well, and that will allow me to get a view of what's happening down with the Amazons and with the Kyoko, and try and find out where they are and what they're planning to do. I've got to be a little bit careful with these teleports so they don't just suddenly appear out of nowhere. So for example, this goes off into an area that I haven't explored yet, and so that's why I'm kind of beefing up my military structures. There we go, let's put the laser defense turrets in there as well, just so that if they do come through, I have got some form of defense. Otherwise I'm going to be stretched a little bit thin. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think we will do one more round and then we'll wrap it up for part 2, because I think that's when we're at the point when we kind of decide where we kind of go all out for some attacks. So I'll do a few more turns, report back to you, and then I will wrap it up, and then we'll decide what we do for part 3. All right, see you soon. Right, we're at turn 62, and this is the point where I kind of decide where I'm going to go from here. And the situation now is drastically improved. So if I move over here, so as you know, I have Jalal, just call it Jalal. Jalal is now one of my colonies, and it's an Amazon colony. And that colony is going to be able to spread out around this kind of area. Now, one of the things that's very bizarre is, as you can see, I can annex a colony right now. So I annex a sector. And I'm trying to annex this dwelling that I took over. And I get the opportunity to modify sector. And you can see that I can annex it to Vostorovov or to Jala. And obviously Vostorovov, it says I need one more colonist before I can add the sector. Now Jala, I have the ability to annex the sector right now, but it doesn't give me the opportunity to do it. I can't select it. And that's really bizarre. And I'm assuming that's a bug because I meet all the correct criteria, but it's still not letting me annex the sector. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, and I may have to annex a different sector for the time being until I can figure out what's going on. What's unfortunate is if I can't annex it, then I only have water around me, and then I'm limited to only 2 of those. So it may actually cramp my ability to expand, because I was hoping to get this one and then get the particle scaling center. And now that's not looking necessarily feasible. So I'll see what happens in the next couple of turns as to what I can do with that. With regards to this independent colony down here, it's going to take me 105 influence in order to take it over. And as you know, that the influence increases every time you take over a new settlement. And it's not worth it because it only has water on its borders. So I'll only be able to get 2 sectors. So I would rather spend the influence points on something else and expand my borders with a colonizer further south down in this area. Now, other items, I've moved my armies down to Novinev because I had problems with the Marauder Guards again. but that's been dealt with, and then I'm going to deal with these marauders here, and then that's pretty much cleared up the area. One of the things I did do was I did the steel maps ability, and I did this on the Amazons, and you can see in the bottom right hand corner here, let me see if I can zoom out into the military map. There we go. You can see that the territory for I've forgotten her name now, but the Amazon is very small, and that's because she had wars with absolutely everybody. And in fact, it looks like the Kirko are trying to take over in Vondriel right now. So I could probably take that quite easy, especially as I've got a teleport that takes me right here, somewhere here. There it is, there, the teleport station. So that would allow me to take Kanzo pretty easily, and then I could move up and take up Vondriel, which is the capital, and then go across and take Nisildar. So that's probably where I'm going to go. Now, the other thing that's interesting is that this area down here, which I haven't explored yet, but I'm going to steal the maps for, is, I've forgotten his name now. It was the other Syndicate dude. It was Taran of House Timur. Now, we had a non-aggression pact, and he has just terminated that with me, which means he's fair game. So I believe that my approach for the foreseeable future is to go for occupying more sectors than anybody else. So the victory condition, if I look at it here, is occupy 63 sectors. Now I've only got 17 right now, but that can change drastically if I take over the Amazon space and I take over the Syndicate space, especially as I've got my kind of nice little area up here with no borders. Obviously I have to watch out for this teleport on this side, and I think this teleport here, there was a teleport over here somewhere. I think that's the one that goes down to the, I'll double check them, but I'm pretty certain that that's the only teleport that I need to worry about. Yeah, there's that one there, and there's one down here which I'm not too worried about, and this one goes down to the Amazon space. So my borders are pretty well protected, so I believe that that's going to be my best approach. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave that to part 3. So I hope you found that interesting. Not much fighting going on because this is the Syndicate, and with the Syndicate it's all about, you know, power play and making sure that no one attacks you whilst you basically take advantage of everybody else. And now hopefully you've seen that in the style of play that I've been doing, which has been very different from what I've done before. You know, it's very, very sneaky and just building up in order to be able to do a mass attack at the end and just take everybody by surprise, hopefully. So, as I said, I hope you found that useful. If you liked it, give me a like. If you didn't, dislike. Please subscribe if you want to know about more content and support what I do. And hit the bell icon if you want notifications of future episodes. All right, that's all for now. See you soon. Take care. Bye.